Before we begin, I wish to thank all of my 500 subscribers for subscribing to my channel and supporting it. It means the absolute world to me, so thank you. In honor of 500 subscribers, I will be doing true creepypasta videos for the next week. However, since creepypastas are quite long, I will be doing 2 creepypastas in each video. Hope you all enjoy it, and once again, a huge thank you. I stand at the top of my stairs, socked toes curling into the carpet as one hand squeezes the door handle and the other hovers over the light switch, trying to decide if it's safe to turn the lights out. It's nearly 7 at night. I have about an hour before sundown, but it's just dim enough in the stairwell to make me doubt if that really matters. I stare down at the welcome mat, and though I see nothing, I know the thing that lives at the bottom of my stairs is watching me too. I know its gauzy white eyes never blink, and that its teeth thin and too long for its mouth, extending far past its leathery lips cannot smile, but I feel as if it's grinning at me. I know its gaunt, lanky limbs are curled and crouch around its small body, waiting to lunge the second the light is out. I know it isn't real. If it was real, I would be able to see it, but even as I remind myself of this, I leave the light on. You see, I made him up, the creature that lives at the bottom of my stairs. I've always had an active imagination. Many children create monsters or imaginary friends with rules. A man who runs beside the car, but can only run in the shadow of the vehicle. A ghost who befriends you, but is invisible to anyone older than you. A monster who waits at the bottom of your stairs, but can't move until the lights are out. I'm not sure why I never stopped doing this. I'm approaching my mid-20s and most children stop around 10. Or at least they stop talking about it. I try to keep my concerns to myself, though I have had to explain myself a time or two as to why I have to be the one who closes the door. I'm the only one who knows what he's doing because I created him. The worst part is that I know he only exists because I think he does. There have been weeks or months where I can go up the stairs to my apartment and not feel his eyes on my back, his claw-like fingers waiting to rip into me. All it takes is a stray thought and he's there again. There have been many times where I was too slow to close my door after I turned the lights out. Nothing happens right away, though I know he is in my apartment with me. There is always a chill in my spine and a cold stone in my stomach when he gets past my door. But it's not like he drags me down the stairs or anything. For some reason, though I know he's capable of killing me, he doesn't. Even when I succeed, sometimes there is this dull thudding noise that starts at 2 AM and continues until sunrise, like he's slamming his dry, callous two big hands against the door, demanding I open it and let him in. This has been the hardest part about accepting he is not real, because I have had guests ask me about the noise. I never know what to tell them. Though on the nights he gets in, I can feel him watching me from the doorway to my room, which unfortunately shares a wall with that stairwell. He sits in the same spot all night, body twitching and contouring as he runs his clawed fingers over his face in anticipation. Though I will never claim to have actually seen him, I will say I feel as if a trick of the light or a stray shadow have sometimes looked as if they were trying to reveal him to me. My biggest worry is I think he's getting closer with each time I fail. He started right outside my doorway, but he was a mere 3 feet from me the last time. I can't really tell because he isn't real and because I can't see him, but I think he's getting more worked up. I don't know what he's so excited about, but I can guess it will happen when he has made his way to sit at the foot of my bed. I think it's getting faster. I have been failing more often than not to keep him out. It won't be long now before he reaches his goal, whatever that goal is. Maybe it's to torment me and feed off my fear of what he'll do next. If that's his goal, he's succeeding. It's killing me. I can't sleep knowing he's there. I know he's never attacked me in the past, but I'm always scared that tonight will be the night he decides that enough is enough and goes for it. My lack of sleep is hurting my job. My paranoia is ruining my relationships. All I do is sit at home and hide away from the creature I don't know how to stop. I'm sick of it. So tonight, I'm not going to hide. Tonight, I'm leaving the door to the stairwell open when I turn off the light. I'm turning off all the lights in my apartment and I'm going to sit on my bed in the dark. Tonight, when his twisted body lunges and lurches his way into my room, I'm not going to pretend I don't see him. I'm not going to pretend that just because I made him up, that means he's not real. I'm going to look him in those disgusting cloudy eyes and accept my fate. I'm tired of waiting. My friend, let's call her Jenny, was a cheery, happy-go-lucky young woman. She rode one of them crotch rocket bikes and loved riding it. She was always up for new and exciting things. She took a job as a security guard for a casino I worked at. She was always that ray of sunshine that would bring you up if you were having a bad day. Even when she was feeling down, she always made it a point to make sure you were feeling better. After a year, she was promoted to a gaming officer. She was really happy as this was an entry point to get into the upstairs offices. She would tell me often that if she got in, she would try to get me in with her. I worked on the floor, paying out jackpots and getting changes for gamers. Not long after her promotion, she started acting funny. Not so much that people noticed it right away, but enough that I noticed it. She would come to work tired or even come late, but never said why. I noticed her attitude change as well. She was more jumpy and cautious than normal. One time during a conversation that we were having on the floor, she stopped and just, as I first thought, stared at me. I realized after a little bit that she wasn't staring at me but behind me. I turned, but saw nothing. She seemed to snap out of it after a bit and brushed it off as losing her track of thought. I never questioned it at the time. One day she came in 2 hours late. Her superior wasn't too happy. He had actually sought me out on the floor to see if I could get a hold of her. When she did come in, she looked worse for wear. She was unkempt, baggy red eyes and jittery. When questioned by her superior, she put it as a late night out. When she came to the floor, she pulled me aside and asked to meet up after work. We met at Denny's and she proceeded to tell me what was going on. She, as she put it, was having a weird thing happen to her. It started subtly at first, a chill here, a noise there. Nothing she couldn't explain away. But as time progressed, things got weirder. The chills got colder, the noises got louder and more frequent. Things were never where she left them. Then it started happening at work. Her desk was always rearranged from how she left it. She thought that someone was messing with her, even voicing her concern, but nobody ever came forward. When she was walking the floor, she would feel a tap on her shoulder or a tug on her shirt with nobody around. When she would walk to her office, which was located near the uniform room in a less trafficked area of the building, she always heard footsteps in line with hers, as if someone was walking right behind her. She was also afraid to use the restrooms as well, if no one was with her. It was there one day, she said. She got scared real bad. Answering the call of nature, she had just begun when she said there was a single light knock on the stall door. She had announced herself in the stall when someone knocked again. This time, 2 of them, louder than the first. She had said that she was using it and to use another when the door began to rattle, as if someone was jiggling the handle. Then it stopped. She said she was about to get up when, to her horror, the sliding lock began to slowly move, unlocking itself. Jenny said she flung the door open, but no one was there. When she got out of the stall, no one was in there. She was about to walk out when, turning towards the stall, she said she saw a dark mass, humanoid looking, peeking out behind the furthest stall. She said she has seen it often since. The day she was really late, she said she was awoken from her sleep. It was night, her room was dark and she couldn't speak nor move. She tried to, she told me, but couldn't. And she had a dreaded feeling like she wasn't alone. The only thing she could move was her eyes, she recalled, and she happened to look up with them, seeing this humanoid mass looking right down at her, a faint glow where eyes would be. She said she closed her eyes and was able to scream, finally gaining control of her body. She jumped out of bed and tried to turn on the lights near her bed, but it wouldn't work. The mass then started to come towards her, blocking her bedroom door. She said she ran into the closet and shut it. The light in the closet worked. She said she was afraid of opening the door. She heard it moving around the room. She fell asleep in there, not waking till late in the morning, got quickly dressed and came in, hence her appearance. The last week of her life she stayed with me. Despite the odd occurrences at work, nothing ever happened at my place. She was peaceful. She was sleeping and eating again, and on her days off she reported nothing happening. The day she died was one of the strangest and scariest days of my life. It started with me going in like normal. I came in at 8 and Jenny came in an hour late. Things were pretty normal, and at 12 we went to lunch. During lunch, she told me she was going to go back to her place. The last week was pretty good, and she hoped that whatever it was had finally left her alone. After that, we went back to our posts. About half hour after lunch, my supervisor calls me in the office and says one of the swing shift people called out and asked if I could pull a double. If I agreed, I could take the next day off or come in and get the overtime. So I agreed. At around the same time, Jenny was asked to stay a few hours more as one of her co-workers had suddenly gotten ill in the stomach and had to go. So she agreed. After that, I got the strangest feeling like I was being watched. Couldn't explain it. I felt someone was staring at me in empty parts of the floor. Jenny told me she started to feel like a weight was being lifted off her, but she also felt like I was in trouble somehow. She said something in the back of her head said that someone was mad at me, like they hated me, but she didn't know who, nor could she explain why it was that specific feeling. My second shift started and her extra hours started like this. Some of my co-workers reported feeling uneasy around me, while Jenny said that she was becoming like her old self again. When Jenny was getting ready to end her shift at 11 in the evening that night, I took my final break to say goodbye. As I was getting out an hour after her, she said she felt free in what seemed like forever. She wanted to enjoy her ride home. She said she would text me when she made it. We hugged and I saw her off for what would be the last time. Needing to get back on the floor, I had the call of nature beckoning me, but I decided I could hold it, or so I thought. As I was making my rounds, that urge came at me strong, literally forcing me to make a mad rush to the employee's restroom. I ran in and got the nearest urinal, relieved. I washed my hands and started to leave when a light, soft knock came from the direction of the stalls. There, peeking out from the farthest stall, was a black mass, humanoid looking with a soft glow where the eyes should be. I blinked and it was gone. I stood frozen there, literally trying to rationalize if I saw something or not. I looked at the time on my phone. 20 minutes had passed since Jenny left. I looked up and there it was again, only this time I got this really bad feeling that something was wrong and I bolted out of there. That image was burned into my memory and has been ever since. I called Jenny, but it went to voicemail. I finished the rest of my shift with that dreaded feeling. After work, I went home and tried calling again. Voicemail. I left her a message to get back to me ASAP. That feeling stayed with me till I fell asleep. My sister broke the news to me that morning. Her boyfriend was an EMT that had responded to an accident call. He, Jenny and I, as well as my sister, had all gone to high school together. Being the one that took the call, he was shocked to find her off the road, about 40 feet to be exact, dead, with a broken neck. She had hit the safeguard, this metal piece that curved with the road. He thought it weird that she would have landed 40 feet away, seeing that the speed limit at the turn was only 20, and that later it was determined that she hit it going 10 miles an hour. No alcohol nor drugs were found in her system, so they thought she probably fell asleep, and when she hit, she landed neck first and slid to a halt. Though I was later told by my sister's boyfriend that when he got there, he didn't see anything that looked like she slid. The ground, he remembered, was undisturbed. This has haunted me for a while now. A few weeks ago, I dreamed that Jenny was talking to me. I couldn't hear her and she had this blank, almost emotionless expression. She then points behind me and there it is, the thing I saw the day my friend died. By the way, one more thing I forgot to mention. When the time of death was given, it was around 11:20 p.m, about the same time that I saw that flippin' thing. But that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching and I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to leave a like. Until tomorrow, goodbye.